What's up? Welcome back. Today, I want to give you a quick 10 minutes on what I think happened last night in the debate, how I think it's going to maybe move the ball forward, what I see in investment real estate. These are just some of the things I'm tracking based on programs that are now being announced. Every 4 years, we get a bad sales pitch that seems to be the same sales pitch from 4 years ago. Being a politician has to be, a very skilled sales game. They sell the people every 4 years on the same plan, but within that nugget, we get some program change, usually state level, some federal level. But this is what makes investment real estate so interesting. Some of these programs, if you're watching, have they can dictate the way people move, where the people move amongst states, and the way people move money. So, with certain tax implications. Obviously, I am not a CPA, I am not a tax advisor, but these are some things that I think are easy things for you to watch to try to figure out how to get ahead of the game. I'm going to show you a program that what I saw come out. There's been several on the West Coast now about programs that they're announcing for first-time home buyers who are maybe illegal or maybe on a path to citizenship. Who knows? But these are programs that they're running now that I think are going to send influxes of people from communities into other states. So these are things you need to be tracking to get ahead of if you're going to be in investment real estate or just buying a home in general. There's things that the Fed has talked about, decreasing rates now, decreasing rates in a substantial manner in throughout the year and in through the end of next year. How I would frame offers if I was buying my primary residence. So let's dive right in. I want to show you a program that I saw in California that I think is going to really irritate the California people. Now, this program has not been hidden well in the media. Everybody is really talking about it. It really, really has, people in local communities fired up for good reason. Now, illegal immigrants can get $150,000 towards buying a property, and that is going to absolutely boil over once it goes through. Make no mistake, it will go through.
Challenge you guys to get out here and do something. These Haitians are running into trash cans. They're running into buildings. They're running into, they flipping cars in the middle of the street. And it's nothing but immigrants over there. And I don't even want to seem like I'm coming down on the immigrants because it's the people that's bringing them down here. Because wherever they're at, that's what they're used to, bro. They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them.
Now, I want you to look at this article because this is about Florida and condos. And if you have been following anything in the news, you know that market is absolutely insane with the insurance and assessments. The structural engineering that was ordered in 2021 is now coming due. So all these condos and associations are now having to levy assessments because of the additional required structural tests that have to be performed. Maybe by the end of this year, if I'm not correct on that, drop me a comment. But it is now all coming due, right? So these are people who are in these condos who are now going to have to sell, but they have to pay the assessment to sell or sell at a loss or whatever. But it affects, there's 1.8 million condos in the state of Florida. So DeSantis has come across now and said, hey, we need to act on this. Basically, everybody has raised enough stink that these people are now getting pushed out of their condos, many on assisted living. I mean, limited incomes, and have bought these condos with their retirement and now can't afford. So the state of Florida is now going to get back in session, legislate, and probably put an extension at very least on. So there may be a lot of condos coming on the market, or they may throttle back or try to make some sort of assistance for the condominiums to get these tests done. And not take the big lumps on the assessment. There was some talks of doing low interest loans for the assessments, things like that. that I think would have additional lenders probably, fuming at the mouth to get it. But with that being said, this is going to open up more properties in the state of Florida. You look at the things that are happening before, which I showed you on videos like that, which I think are going to send an influx of people towards the state, and it surely makes an interesting thing to think about investments, maybe being able to snatch up some cheap condos, and then having a very awake, wide audience that's going to need a place to stay. Now, I know they didn't really touch on housing. Vice President Harris started to touch on housing a little bit in what she outlines as a first-time home buyer, or possibly some federal credit dollars that could help you out as a first-time home buyer. Now, if these programs come to fruition, we never do know or can tell. So we will likely see on that. Now, I think the biggest news, around the debate was there is a lot of animosity, and I think there is a good amount of tension in the marketplace because of it. With that being said, the Fed rates cuts, I think, will send people back in the market, but not in such a manner that you think. Now, if one side's candidate wins, I think, in November, that will alleviate a lot of pressure for one side and maybe mount more pressure for the other side. I don't know. But you look at it as there is going to be a big influx of people moving into the market. Now, there's still a lot of houses on the market. There are people negotiating off asking price, which is, 2 years ago, unheard of. You're not looking at the comps anymore. You're just figuring out how much you got to pay for it. So I think there's going to be a big influx towards the end of the year, which we typically run into seasonality and the market slows down. Especially in my market, when the market warms back up, people start buying houses. If you got a pool house, you want to sell it when it's hot. So I think that, why the debate didn't answer any questions on housing for me. I don't think it moved the ticket one way or the other for anybody. But this is going to be an interesting time. You look at the things that are happening around the nation, the programs that are being announced. That was just one in California. There's also one in Washington State, and I'm getting investors who are moving their rental properties down to the state of Florida, to different, more tax friendly, to get away from stuff like that. So there's big influxes still, and I think there's going to continue to be throughout the year. You look at the things that are happening, like in Springfield, Ohio, in California, and then look at the favorable things that are happening in a place like Florida and Texas, who are framing their taxes around investors. I think that, if you're in those markets and you can get ahead of it, and some of these properties now that are negotiating off list price, you get in front of that, negotiate off the list price, you're going to be positive cash flow in day one, which is what you want. Also a great time to be a home buyer with the rates dropping. And what I would do personally, my recommendation, you're buying your own home, I negotiate a 2-1 rate buy down into the deal, so that I am 2 points lower first year, 1 point interest rate lower second year. And by that I mean, if the prevailing rate right now is 5.25, your first year is going to be 3.25, then 4.25, and then 5.25 in the third year. Signaling now that I know the Fed is going to cut probably below that by that third year, maybe even by the end of next year, you can refinance and you're going to be in a good spot. So negotiate off list price now, refinance, or if the rate doesn't go below 5, you should still be okay there too. You'll have a little bit of positive equity, and you should be able to move forward if you need to into a different house. So like I said, there's a lot going on, a lot of tension in the marketplace. Don't let it rile you up to a point where you sit on the sideline. But if you have any questions, shoot them to me. Love to talk to you. Love to help you out. As always, shoot me a like, a subscribe, and feel free to shoot me a message and follow along. And I appreciate you. Thank you.